Hey, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and as you may recall, I subscribed to Scrawlr Box, which is an art supply box from England for a year, and so box number 2 just arrived, and we're going to open it up and take a peek inside. I hope you enjoy this video, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my website at juliebalzer.com. So here is the Scrawlr box. I've covered up my address, obviously. Let's see, this month's candy says framboise, which means strawberry. So, ooh, watercolor studio pad, cold pressed. I'm usually a hot press fan because I don't love texture, so we'll see how this goes. Tessa Harris, faces and botanicals, lovely. Looks like we're gonna have a sort of purpley green combo here. So this is the Scrawlr, looks like something leaked. Something is coming through this tissue paper. Let's examine. Oh yeah, something definitely leaked through here. This tissue paper is all kind of stuck. Well, whatever the leak is, it's stuck on here. This does not look great. Oh yeah, this silver. Can you see it all? It obviously did not travel very well. It's all glued on here now. Well, that's not a great start. Sticky and leaking. It's only the silver that leaked? No, there's some pink here. There's a little bit of green too. Well, not great. I'm gonna try to clean it up with a baby wipe just so that it's not quite so sticky. Okay, so it does seem to be cleaning up pretty well with a baby wipe. That's great. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the packaging, I will say that. This may be, I just feel like when your packaging isn't good, then I don't have a lot of confidence in your product either, and that may be unfair, but it's the way that I feel. Here's the sticker. So it looks like these are 3 watercolor pencils from Derwent. An ivory black, terracotta, and a Prussian blue, which makes sense given the colors that I can see in this picture. Unless English in England is spoken differently, these premium watercolor pencils are equipped with soft and easily blendable pigment leads. These things are Jackman's pearlescent watercolor pots. These magical sparkling pearlescent watercolor pots have all the same high quality characteristics as professional grade watercolors. You know, that makes me wonder why they leaked. Because they should be solid if they're watercolor, shouldn't they? Or maybe they're gloopy. Oh no, they're not solid. They are like what's inside a tube watercolor, but not inside a tube, which is really annoying. I already don't like them. I already don't like them just because they're so gloopy and these pots are so awkward. Anyway, I'll keep an open mind. I'm keeping an open mind. Then this is the brush. This is a Sea White round synthetic brush. A good paintbrush is at the heart of any painting. The challenge is ethereal entity, and I noticed that it says here that this box is all about taking inspiration from the mythical works of fantasy art. Let's take a quick peek through the zine to see. There's the featured artist. Oh, I like this blue piece a lot. So things to try. So they're suggesting that you can, of course, draw first and then add water, but you can also wet the tip of the pencil first, or you can pick the color off the tip of the brush and use it like normal watercolor. So we will try all 3 of those. These are some tips from the artist. So her best tip, which I do like, is unexpected colors mix really nicely. So it's always worth experimenting. So she mixed the bright green and the pink, and she got a really pretty purple from them. As a side note, while I get set up and move everything, I did get a note from Scrawlr Box saying that they are increasing their prices this month, including shipping. And I think that means I have to start paying more. These pots keep leaking. I'm telling you, I already don't like them. Gosh, I sound so whiny, but I just have pink all over my hands every time I touch this thing. Okay, I have my 3 pencils, so let's go ahead and test the pencils out first. So there we go. And then how about if I do some harder lines? You can really see the nice texture in the watercolor paper when you use the side of the pencil. So let's use the brush. And I will confess, I have dirty water, as always. So we'll see how the dirty water goes. So as expected, the water does blend really nicely when you use the pencil lightly, but when you use the pencil with a hard push, you still very much see the lines. Now let's try dipping the pencil directly into my water. That's my reaction to that. There are other products that do a nicer job when dipped into water. And now let us try straight off the pencil. Nice. Got some nice flicks there. So as a side note, this is a great way to get some little flick, 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 flick dots. There you go. Can you see all my little splats that I got from doing that? Okay, so pencil first, pencil dipped in water, and then pencil just straight off with the brush. Now let's open up these little pots of color. Funny, this one is hard. This is the one that most leaked out. So maybe all of this so you know, watercolor is a mix of different things. So maybe it leaked out. This one is still pretty liquid. And this one is still pretty liquid. So let's just compare. I'm gonna move these pots out of the way because there's plenty in the lids. Can you see how this is all dried up and this is more liquidy? So I'm curious how that is going to affect things, but let's see. I'm gonna dip now. I have a damp brush because obviously it's been in water. I'm gonna add some water now. My water's a little dirty, as you know, so. Okay. And now let's try, I have a wet brush now that I'm gonna put on the silver because I'm treating this a little bit more like a pan watercolor, so it reactivates really quickly. And there's that silver. We can add some water. Nice, pretty. Okay, and let's try the green. Also very nice. Sometimes I find with the shimmery watercolors that they don't have enough pigment in these, but these seem pretty well pigmented, which is really nice. You can get a lot. Okay, so let's mix some of these things on up. So I'm going to put a little bit of this pink watercolor into this pencil watercolor. Get kind of a dusky purple color, which is pretty. Let's see, can I make the blue a little shimmery? I think that would be nice. It mostly looks gray now. And I guess I'll add a little bit of green to the terracotta and see what happens. Maybe there was not enough terracotta added here. That terracotta, this green is much stronger. It's just fighting it. Okay, so that did not go really, really well. Can I put some terracotta maybe over it? Through the wet watercolor? I don't know. Through the watercolor? Through the watercolor? Maybe. Maybe the black would work better. Yeah, so this is kind of, I think that may be one of the ways that I might use these watercolor pencils. So here's just the watercolor pencil. And then, by the way, notice that that green paint dyed the brush green. This isn't actually dirty. Nothing's coming off on me, but it definitely dyed it green. Okay, and then I'm just going to put down some water on here. And then I'm going to run my pencil, there you go, through the wet water. And you can see how it's so much bolder than this line, right? When there's wet surface. So I'm going to go ahead now, a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of silver. I'm probably contaminating it here, but that's okay. Just a little bit of silver and a little bit of pink kind of makes this mauve-y color. Let's drip it a little bit into the green, I guess, even, to get that kind of mix there. And maybe take the blue, give it kind of a ring, do some mark making inside, maybe add a couple of little flicks. And where it's wet, they go right in. You know, that's more in the kind of like mixed media style that I might be likely to play in. Okay, so this was just a test and a play, so I'm just gonna see if I can incorporate these marks I've already made into something. Why don't we try to make a face just like they made a face? So I'm gonna start here. So there you go. I only use the things in the box, and the points at which were frustrating for me were that the brush felt too small at different points, but it did take a beating. It's definitely clean, but it's dyed kind of green. I found that these potted watercolors didn't lift in the same way that like the pencils and other traditional watercolors do. But I had a good time, and you know, I don't think any of these supplies are things that I would have picked, but I'm glad I tried them out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll check out my online classes at balzerdesigns.com and sign up for my free weekly newsletter.